The following was performed live in front of a Twitch audience. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everybody to the Mighty Dungeon, Eberron, Season 1, Episode 1. I congratulate you on being here. It's gonna be a very wonderful time. If you don't know what Dungeons and Dragons is, it's a game where everything is made up and the points do matter. And I have some lovely, lovely guests with me today. Got my lovely YouTube editor, video editor extraordinaire, who also did that lovely intro for us, Franco. Do you want to say hello real quick?
Hello.
All right, thank you so much. Gozira, good buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hello.
Acknowledgement.
Thank you.
We have somebody who produces YouTube videos about all the things we studied up on to get ready for this campaign. It's our good pal, Jordan. You want to say hello?
Hello, how's it going?
You guys can go find his YouTube channel. It's Jordan with a silent PH. Figure that one out.
Right in the middle. The best branding somebody has ever done.
And then also another, speaking of wonderful brand names, so we got my buddy KD Wolf, Twitch streamer, and good friend of mine, and fellow candle connoisseur.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Let me light this up.
All right, so
Yeah,
we're lighting up on that side of the table.
Light up over there.
And then the wonderful, what once was Mr. Falcone, and is now Falcon Frags on Twitch. You've been having a lot of fun streaming VR. I suggest going and following him. And we all are sitting here at this virtual table getting ready to embark on a journey in the fantastic world of Eberron. It is a land full of mystery, political intrigue, horror, magic, technology, and everything in between. So, without further ado, I think we're gonna roll the very first episode of, wait for it, the Mighty Dungeon.
Did you cut the sleeves off a robe?
Yeah, and I also didn't cut your microphone, so shut the hell up. And here we are, and for some reason the bot has stopped working, so we're gonna figure that out as well. Everything's just blowing up, but it's okay, because you know what? This is what episode 1s are for. You guys, while I'm figuring that out, you can take a look around at the surroundings of where we left off after session 0. In Eberron Keep, bordering the Mournlands themselves. You've joined the group of the 1,000-Yard Stare, is an outfit for hire by House Madani to keep on a lookout to see what is going on in the Mournlands and to make sure that any information is sent back to the respective home countries. Now, in pairs, some players alone, reached the keep for various reasons. Some seeking more information about the Mournland, some seeking a contact here at Eberron Keep. Reasons a little bit unclear as to why or who they would be dealing with. The river just outside the keep now seems to be pushing against itself in both directions. It doesn't know what is upstream, what is downstream, and it seems to be changing by the minute. As you're all huddled in the middle of this fort, as everyone is running back into the fort after finding a very strange, warforged creature, robot, person walk from out of the Mournlands themselves into the river and then onto the shores. After a winged creature of wyvern descent, but made of the mist, it seems itself, briefly shot through the wall and towered and flew over the keep, almost picking up and taking out some of the guards. But one well-placed rifle shot from Channara herself, dragon mark glowing on her neck, blasting an actual and literal hole through the middle of the creature as it shrieked and flew away to the north along the river. Now, as you're all huddling back into the fort, you can hear and see over at the towering walls of the fort this 1,000-foot-tall wall of churning, smoky mist that, if you look long enough, kind of takes your breath away as you see faces and hands trying to claw out from this wall made of the smoke itself. Lightning off in the distance, lighting up the smoke briefly from time to time. As Channara runs past you, she turns back to the men at the gates and says, "Close it! But first, Group 2, barracks, now! Group 1, send 2 people north, let's track that thing! And Group 3, half on the walls, 2 with me! Let's go, let's get these people into my tower!" And she turns and starts running towards the corner building of one of the fort. As you see all of these soldiers, which look like a mishmash of unmarked soldiers for hire, some that have more of the House Madani colors, all just frantically running in every direction. 2 of these guards kind of come up next to the group of all of you. Everyone kind of still shaking from everything that's happening. You look off to the corner and you still see 2 people resting up after being almost consumed by this mist that had reached one of the buildings, which you now know seems to be the barracks where the soldiers go to rest. But 2 of these soldiers come up and group you guys up and begin to usher you towards where Channara is going, towards this one taller tower in the corner. What do you guys do?
Excuse me, I don't know what group I'm in. There was 3 groups. Am I, like, when they were handing out groups, I don't know if I was here yet.
Young Goblin, we are the people. Follow them.
You're not in a group, just follow her. Let's go.
All right, Darrow, come on. I don't want to be alone.
I'm coming. I'll be honest, man. I don't think they like us very much.
Well, I mean, yeah, they don't. They're just terrible people. They don't like us.
Let's go.
Okay,
the wall
we're
could be
coming.
moving soon.
We're coming.
Got little legs. Hang on.
Everybody else going as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
You guys make your way into this building. Big double doors, still cracked open from Channara rushing through. Inside, the sounds of the churning mists and lightning and rushing water are a little bit dulled by some new noises and some new sights. As inside this building, you see... Let's see if this works. There we go. It looks like what once was maybe a tower outfitted to generals or a place for the people to relax that were a little bit higher standing. I'm gonna skip the music. Oh, I know why the music isn't working. That's why. There we are. Inside here, you see Chanara, who rushes up to the very well dressed, large, hippo-like creature standing over what on first glance might look like some sort of large organ or piano, but up above it there is a structure built with a bunch of contraptions on it. All sorts of levers all over the place. There are little dials and meters and needles tracking all over the place. There's light emitting from all of them in some sort of magical fashion. And seated underneath the balcony in the middle of this room is a large metallic ball that at first glance looks almost like a fancy furnace, but also has rings of metal kind of slowly moving around it. And Chanara looks to the group that gets rushed in, all of you guys, and she's currently having a conversation with the hippo-like creature. And then she turns as you all enter. That's good. Bring him in. Close the door. Don't need any more company. Just do it. Well then. We need to get some things straight. So I need to know who all of you are. And I need to know it right now.
Gabriel steps forward.
Go ahead.
I'm Gabriel Brightvale of the Order of the Templars and the Silver Flame. I'm sent down here to basically see if everything's okay, which apparently it's not.
No, it's not. And you? What about you, the one that was riding around on a druid, I'm guessing?
Yeah, Zyxx will look behind him, and then he'll... Oh, me, yeah. Well, you see, we were looking for a magic stick, and then there was a wall of cursed evil, and we thought we'd check it out. So, we're just here, looking for helping people, see what's going on.
Right. I will be asking you further about said evil and magical stick here in a moment. And Marstone, I believe you were from the north, were you not?
Yes. Reckon Mark. You're
Right.
on duties from the university.
Right. And what about you? She turns and starts walking slowly over to the warforged creature.
As they were talking, I'm gonna start actually moving through the room and putting my fingers on top of all these contraptions and getting closer and like tilting my head to the side, observing them, kind of feeling a little bit weirded out by all these mechanical things, being as me myself I am a mechanical thing. And then I turn around and I look at her. I am someone. Maybe.
You're kind of interrupted by the sound of a bunch of things being dropped. It's like she's focused on you really closely, and then you just hear, and she turns. Jam! Sorry about that. Sorry. Start picking everything up. As you see, the large hippo-like creature drops like a bunch of tools. There's like a spanner and like a bunch of springy things and a glowing metal object, and they all spill everywhere. And he takes his sweet time to like slowly bend down and start picking them all up again. And then at this point, there is a... Milady! Come in! As the door opens up again. Milady, there's someone at the door to see you. Right. Jem, and you. Keep an eye on them.
Miss Chernara? I didn't get to introduce myself, and I kind of like scuffle up past Zyxx and knock him over a little bit.
She literally leaves. Like, just, she ignores you completely and just slams the door and leaves.
Great
And this
talking
awkward,
to you, ma'am.
this awkward guard, like, steps in as you also see Jam in the background just, like, tinkering with stuff on all these devices. Like, there's a sudden burst of mist-like smoke that spurts from this large egg-like contraption. And he kind of looks over at it and then goes across to another table. And the guard just stands in here and folds his arms. Leaves you guys alone.
Gabriel is kind of looking a little flustered at this moment and just kind of just mumbles to himself. I should be out there helping. Excuse me. And he's gonna talk to the guard that is there.
Huh?
Is there anything that I can do to help?
Yeah, you can wait right here.
I'm kind of getting taken aback a little bit. Yeah, sure.
Mr. Guard, sir, what is your name?
Jethro.
Jasper. Hey, man, are we being held here?
Just for the moment.
So, if we wanted to move around, would that be okay, or?
Jam, is it okay if they move around? And the large hippo-like creature turns and literally points to you and glares at you. And with one pipe sticking out of the corner of his mouth, goes, "No," and then turns around again.
Well, if we're going to be here, you don't mind if I smoke, do you?
Who are you talking to?
Anybody. Just like...
Anybody?
I'm looking at like the guards, just like a general question.
The guard just shrugs.
Wonderful.
He doesn't seem to care.
Okay.
I'm gonna go peek over Chen's shoulder at what he's doing.
At Jam?
Yes.
Okay. Are you doing it stealthily?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Everyone watches as the Warforged kind of stumbles over towards the large, towards Jam, and Jam kind of notices your presence because he's a little skittish, and Jam is just gonna notice you there and kind of wide-eyed look you up and down really quick. And then Jam goes to pick you up with both hands.
Okay.
Would you resist, or are you just letting it happen?
No.
Okay. He picks you up, kind of like a doll, and sits you on top of a table with your legs dangling off. And then goes to a table and starts looking at what look to be different types of mechanical glasses or eyewear with like tons of different focals and lenses on them, and start spinning through them.
I'm gonna walk up to Marstone, kind of whisper to him. I've never seen a warforged before. I've only read stories. Have you encountered any before?
I have, as I'm starting to like kind of light this pipe that I've produced. In fact, fought against and alongside many of them.
Really?
Yes, they can be quite ferocious. Hard to kill
In the war?
in the war.
What was it like?
I suppose like any war. Bloody, wretched. A nightmare.
Gabriel kind of looks down at the ground and is just kind of silent.
Did you have plans to join Thrain's army early on, or?
Well, the war kind of ended, and when I was old enough to join.
Ah, you're a youth. Well,
Just nods.
consider yourself lucky.
Everyone make a perception check, real quick.
Oh, that's persuasion. Whoops.
I'm just looking around and all the things around me, and at this creature inspecting me.
18.
5.
24.
Ooh. So, Gabriel, with 18, you hear a set of footsteps approaching from outside towards the door pretty hastily.
I kind of
Zyxx,
look over my shoulder.
Zyxx, you would have heard a mumble coming from Jam, but with your keen ears in this moment and just being observant of everything, you clearly look over and see Jam poke the Warforged's his forehead a couple times, like just poking it like a metal object, and you hear him kind of mumble under his breath. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's pretty obvious. Why would they put this here? And then the doors open. And Shannara walks in. But not all the way in. She steps in the doorway. You, Gabriel,
Yeah.
were you expecting to meet another member of the Silver Flame while you were here?
No?
Stay here. And she closes the door again.
Strange. They only sent me.
Doesn't make any sense. It's pretty obvious.
Soldier, and I'll walk up to actually our Warforged friend. He's like, you came from the inside there. Do you have knowledge of the other side, Mr. Soldier?
The other side?
Yeah, you walked out of a large curtain of death curse or something. There's evil clouds with faces. What were you doing on there, other side there?
Wait, you were in the Mourland?
Jam picks you up off the table and sets you down with the group and just shrugs and goes, I don't know what this is.
It's a warforged. What do you mean?
Well, that much is obvious.
Then what's the problem?
It's peculiar enough to be strange and interesting. But I'll just have to contact the house about it. And he goes over to another large sack that's by one of the tables and unloads the sack, and it's just tons and tons and tons of large, medium, and small-sized, what appear to be mechanical firearms. And they splash down onto the table, still causing everything again to just like fall onto the ground, and he starts picking everything back up.
Oh, this guy is fully loaded.
Is this one of the objects that you were planning to give to me on the top of the tower there?
In the moment, it seemed like a good idea, but
At the moment, it was a good idea, and I dare say it's probably a good idea now as well.
well,
I will purchase it from you, if I must.
He leans into you.
they're prototypes.
What does that mean?
Why don't you make an insight check?
Okay. Eight.
8?
Yep.
You get the feeling that, I mean, he just turns to you after you say that, and he just says,
Well, they were all my inventions, but they haven't been tested very well. I'm still working on them.
Well, perhaps in exchange for putting myself at the risk of bodily harm, I could run some tests for you.
Do you know how to use them?
No, but study is my profession, particularly in martial fighting, weapons, what have you.
I'll tell you what,
seem fairly
make-
lethal.
make a persuasion check, unfortunately at disadvantage,
Okay.
because you said you do not know how they work.
All right, so the first one's a 10.
Okay.
The second one's a 4.
Okay. He says,
Come back and see me, little one. After you talk to Chinara a little bit and see if I can get one working for you.
and he pats you on the head.
I thank you for your kindness. Kind of say that through like gritted teeth, like don't touch me.
Gabriel's gonna make his way up to the Warforged, kind of cautiously. Excuse me.
Yes, Goblin number 6. Question. The other side. Nightmare clouds. Many of them.
I don't understand the question. You stating some facts?
On the other side. Many nightmare clouds.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's just really foggy.
Maybe. Flame. Yes. Question.
Did you happen to see any soldiers?
Yes.
Any with
Opposite of alive.
And Gabriel kind of steps back and finds a seat and sits down.
Crown symbol. Just like your flame silver. On chest. Not alive.
Gabriel's just staring at the floor now.
At this point, Chinara walks back in the double doors and then closes them behind her. She takes her very long and intense-looking, mechanical and magical-looking rifle made of components not unlike the weapons that are poured out onto the table in front of Jam, and she takes it from her shoulder and stows it into under a side holster, locked into a metal waist plate that she has in her armor. And she walks over to the middle of the room and kind of looks at the Warforged. And says, Jam, how intense is it? Did you run the tests? And Jam, once again, just like drops a bunch of stuff.
Yep. I'll do it right now.
And he runs over to one of the tables and grabs a little device. It's about the size of the hand, and it looks like, imagine sort of like a tuning fork, but there are a bunch more contraptions installed onto it. Little dials, little steam pressure valves, a couple glowing, what looked to be maybe like small slivers of shards of this glowing substance. And he brings it over to the Warforged and starts, well, first of all, he activates the device, and the device sends 2 little electric nodes sparking at the tips of this tuning fork looking thing. And a line of this faint white electricity kind of courses between the two, and he starts just running it around the Warforged's body. And it's making all kinds of weird noises. It's just going... And then he holds it back and looks at the device, and he just turns to Chinara and says,
About 1.5. It's a long time.
And he turns around and goes back and smirks and takes another puff of his pipe. And then she turns to the Warforged and says, You were in there for 1.5 years. Have you
Doesn't make any sense.
recollection of what your purpose was?
Nightmare clouds. Many.
She puts her hands on her, wipes her face, and she just turns to you all and says, Look, I need to secure the border. This is a lot. However, none of you seem like you're of any threat or danger, and you did help some of my men. She looks over at Gabriel. See to yourself.
Miss Chinaris, I feel like we got off on the wrong foot.
My name is Chinara.
Chinara, and I do like an awkward salute. I still didn't get to introduce myself.
You're a druid of the wood?
Yeah, I'm with Zyxx here. I mean, I'm not with him. We're friends. And
I believe I saw you riding each other.
I mean, that's taken out of context. You're just saying
very
things.
out of context. There was a lot going on.
Yes.
Small.
I agree. A goblin riding a dire wolf up the walls of my tower is indeed an out-of-context scenario.
And about the druid thing, I'm not fully a druid. I have a magic stick. It's a branch, and I have to figure out how to use it to become a druid. So I just wanted, to explain. Okay, and I kind of just look at the ground real awkwardly.
Is that all?
Yes, sir, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I salute again.
See yourselves to the barracks if you wish, but I will have you stay here in the camp overnight, just in case. I have somebody coming in, whom I also want to speak with you.
Do you need any help securing your keep? I can be of use, and like I said, I need to study the 1,000-yard stare. What better time?
You may join Troop 2 up on the walls,
Very
if you wish. Now, if you are done bothering Jam here, which you could do with a little more social interaction once in a while, Jam kind of turns around and almost spills more contraptions all over the place and turns around and makes an expression that looks like it's an attempt to smirk, but the hippo face doesn't quite do it, so it just looks a little scary and weird. And Chinara says, "Right. Well, we're all going to be stuck with each other for at least one night, so might as well get acquainted. I'll be back to check in on you once I've checked in with all my other squadrons. You're all dismissed." And she goes over to the doors and opens the doors up into the fort.
Gabriel stands up and makes his way out.
Well, before we leave, can I ask the hippo in the room? I mean, oh, sorry, no offense. The elephant in the room. What is the giant ball mechanical thing in the
How is
fort?
that less offensive?
That's a good question.
His name is Jam, and he's a GIF.
I mean, he's
Like
a gift to all of us, yes. But, like, I was talking more about the giant
my.
ball thing. That...
If you would like to stay and bother Jam, you may. I have things to do.
Oh,
And she
I'll
just
bother Jam.
leaves. She just leaves the door, like, kind of ajar, and walks out. And you can hear her, like, immediately, like, pointing up at the outer walls of the fort and just yelling at people from distance. And Jam just slowly turns to whoever's staying with, like, contraptions in his hands and nervously just looks at you. Doesn't really know what to do.
She's pretty mean, huh, Jam?
She's my boss.
Okay.
You may not be familiar with the hierarchy, Jam. Anyway, I will be back to bother you about one of those weapons again.
Please don't.
I'm going to. You can count on it. And then I'm going to walk out.
Well, and I slap Zyxx on the shoulder. That was really awkward. What do you say we go do some exploring?
Yeah. No, I like all those things. I'll catch up with you.
Catch up with me.
Are there any of the guns and stuff that fell out still on the floor? Could I like swipe one as I'm walking out?
Ooh, so there are lots of contraptions, like all over the place. There's probably like at least one small pistol-looking contraption that's still on the ground. He, however, is kind of like going from table to table, like working on stuff. So you would need a pretty darn high sleight of hand roll to pull this off, but I will let you try.
If there are any on the tables, I'm gonna actually go straight in, over one and grab it and start moving it around and inspecting it, not knowing what it is.
Yes.
Like if it was a
Great
stick.
All right. All right, so the first thing that happens is Jam immediately walks over to you, going to get the stuff, and he tries to grab your hand before you can even grab one. And he's trying to, he like looks into your eyes and he's just like,
No. Do you understand? No.
and he's just pointing, like he's just like jabbing you in the metal forehead with his finger over and over again, like not even really acknowledging you as like a human being, really, just like,
No.
It's a prototype.
And then what was your sleight of hand?
Oh,
9?
it was a 9.
Okay. He turns around the Warforged and gives you not necessarily a hard push, but he gives you a nudge enough to where you feel his strength. And he nudges you towards the doors. And then he looks over and sees the goblin kind of slowly underneath trying to go for this thing. And right next to your ear, Zyxx, a large grayish white hoof just stomps into the ground, and everything shakes on all the tables in the room like silverware trays. And you see, looking from down above you, the GIF, and he takes his pipe out and sets it down while maintaining eye contact with you, and then reaches into his coat and gets out another little small pistol-like contraption, and he flicks a switch on it, and electricity starts coursing through it. And he says,
You don't want to do that.
Oh no, I'm just admiring. Oh, here's my stick. I'll just be leaving now, thank you.
I don't like social conversate. Get out, please.
Yeah,
I have things to do.
I don't even know which eye to look in. It's really, you're very large.
Goodbye. Leave.
And I exit.
all right, as you all exit, head back to, let's see if I can figure out how to do this properly. So we're gonna get a map. There's gotta be a better way to do this, but is there? So you head back out. We're gonna do music. There we go. And you're all back into the keep. You can hear and see soldiers kind of moving around the walls. You see a small group of maybe 4 or 5 soldiers leaving through the front gates. Some of the soldiers going into the barracks, taking their armor off and looking like they're getting ready to relax. But the overall atmosphere is that 0 people are relaxed. There is still crackling and thundering going on in the distance, and there's just this ominous drone in the air of water being pushed around in the river in weird directions, and smoke and mist churning just over the keep's walls. As everybody keeps constantly, like, compulsively looking over the keep. Just every couple seconds, just panicking, waiting for something to happen, as they're all trying to be controlled and maintained and calmed down by Chanara, who is not doing a super great job of it, as you can hear in the distance, just yelling at people to do stuff in every direction.
I'm going to scale the stairs up towards the wall to kind of start making rounds. And while I'm on the steps, puffing on a pipe, I'm going to reach into my pack and pull out a small journal and a contained quill.
Roger. What would everybody else like to do?
Is there anything like what we just saw inside the tower outside, like in the courtyard of the fort? Any mechanical contraption? Anything like me?
No.
And the soldiers are not armed with any of these weapons we just saw, right?
Correct.
Okay. What time of day is it? Like,
It is probably late afternoon.
and from the point where I saw this massive creature in the wall from the other side, can I take a look at, like, go up the walls and take a look on that direction?
Sure. Yeah, you scale up the wall. In fact, you scale up the large stone stairway that leads up to the battlements and the walls on top of this fort. And beyond Marstone, who stood in front of you at the top of the stairs lighting up a pipe and getting out a journal, you see behind him just the racing river you walked through, and the wall that continues to churn faces, hands, claws. Pretty much any bad thing you could imagine sort of appears in the smoke, as if you willing it to exist within the mist. And it goes on in an infinite direction to your right and left, all the way up the river, almost forever.
Yeah, I'm gonna like stand very, very still, watching at the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Can I? You mentioned the water's like going crazy. It's
Mhm.
just up and down. I don't want to just say I want to use nature and get a roll, but I want to like go down to the water and try to see if it's being pulled into the Mournland or if it's like trying to get away from it. Like, what's causing it to be all crazy?
Sure. Do you want to scale the wall as well? You
Yeah.
would need to see the river, yeah. So you go up on top too, and you know, as much as you tried to get some peace, Marstone, you got some people following you as Zyxx comes up behind as well, as everyone starts standing near you, staring off into the Mournland. Zyxx, go ahead and make me a nature check.
While Zyxx is doing that, I see him, and I realize like he's leaving me behind, and I kind of panic and scuffle up the wall. And I'm
Okay, and
bumping into
Darrow
him.
joins you guys on the wall. Marstone seems the group is just following behind you at this point.
Gabriel's just hanging out in the courtyard.
Sure. Well, first of all, Zyxx will deal with that nature check. So,
19, yeah.
for 19, you get a couple pieces of information. The first one is obvious. What's going on in the river is not natural whatsoever. There are whirlpools happening. Some water is being pushed this direction. Water is being sucked onto what you think might be the shore on the other side. Fish are just being pushed onto the shore dead. Not necessarily rotting, but they're just being pushed lifelessly onto the shores.
Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. I also want to point out that as Darrow pops up, I think the live studio audience would go, "Oh," and like cheer. Like I just hear that in my head.
Is this a sitcom now? Our campaign's like an episode of Friends, really.
Yeah.
I'm like out of breath.
Wow,
I
that's a
put
lot
my
of
hand-
stairs.
I like put my hand on Marstone's shoulder and like almost knock his pipe out of his hands. Hey man.
What?
Nothing. You know, pull my hand back.
I want to look off in the direction of where that shadow creature flew. Is there smoke on the horizon or anything?
Make a perception check.
It's a natural one.
Nothing in sight. Just this infinite wall of smoke going up 1,000 feet and just going on into the distance all the way up the river. Although, for a 6, you can't quite put your finger on it, but if you look to the right, what would cross another river and cross into the borders of Breland, and then you look to the left in the direction of, let's say, the mountain that you came from in the woods there, the mist does seem different in the direction that the thing flew, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Maybe it's less. There's less churning. It's closer. It's a different shade of gray. You just can't quite put your finger on it.
So did it fly back into the mists? I thought it went like north.
You're not sure.
Okay.
The last thing that anyone that could have seen it remembers, if you were on top of the walls, you would have seen it fly away from the keep along the river north. And at the beginning of the session, you heard Chinara kind of screaming out to one of the squads to head out for recon to see if they could trace it.
I'm going to turn to Darrow. I'm going to ask him, why did you say you were here?
Me?
Yes, you.
Well,
What are you doing here at the keep? And I'm going to open up my notebook.
okay. Well, let me try to explain this a little better this time. So I met Zyxx in the woods,
Uh-huh.
and we had a couple of
Zyxx
quests.
is the goblin.
Yeah, the goblin who was.
Okay, yeah.
Yo!
The goblin.
Yeah, this little guy, my
Uh-huh.
little buddy.
Yeah.
And we both had quests we were on. And we completed them. And then we ended up near this giant keep. And we noticed there was a lot going on. So we decided to hop in and take a look. And that's how we got here.
But purely by chance, then.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to just snap the notebook closed real quick and say, all right. Good enough for me. You are a druid, yes?
Theoretically.
Do you mind if I take a look at some of your equipment?
I guess, yeah.
I'm just going to kind of look him over. Feel up all of his weapons and stuff, and that's pretty much it.
Aye. Hope you found what you were looking for.
Yeah, just nothing special. Fairly standard woodland folk weaponry. Survival equipment. You are adept, no doubt.
I look at Zyxx. Are you gonna let him talk to me like this?
You're your own person. I think you can wolf up and tell people if you don't want to be talked to, then you don't be talked to.
Well, don't you agree? It's
I'll
very
be a
standard survival equipment for the most part. There's nothing.
I mean, we're not all made of fancy axes like some people here with their.
What?
I start ruffling through my coat and I go, "Oh yeah, what about this?" And I whip out my stick.
Is that a fire starter?
This is a magic druid stick. And I'm waving it. You never seen one of those, have you, Mr. Marstone?
As he's waving it around, I take the mouth end of my pipe and I just tap on it a couple times. It's just a stick.
Yeah. I'll show you. And then I cast Druid Craft. And let's see. Hold on, let me look. I make
Cast something.
I get a couple options. But
And it's really cool, you guys.
Just wait.
I'm like, oh yeah, check this
I
out.
love the idea of you waving the stick around like, wait, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I open
And,
the
like,
notebook back up.
A puff of leaves come out of the end of the stick when I cast Druid Craft and just kind of float into his face. Just a small puff.
I snap the notebook closed once again.
And I put it back in my coat.
At this point, down in the square, Gabriel, a soldier approaches you. This soldier in particular appears to have a very faint but still noticeable tattoo on his left cheek. And he walks up without a helmet on. He's got shaggy, very dark hair, and walks up to you and says, "Hi. You're the Silver Flame, right?"
Gabriel kind of shakes his head a little bit to get out of his daydream. He looks over and kind of puts on a fake smile and, yeah, I am. Sorry.
I think you're the one that helped Nathan. Appreciate that. It's one of my best buds from growing up. If you wouldn't mind taking another look at him later. It seems he's okay, but doesn't seem quite himself. Not all the way. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what's going on.
Where is he?
He's in the barracks. Oh, milady. Chinera approaches again. And kind of immediately, doesn't necessarily bark at this soldier, but sternly, she goes, "You should be resting." Yes, I will. Thank you again. Nods at you, Gabriel, and goes back into the barracks. You. I have a question for you.
Certainly.
You don't know anything about another Silver Flame member coming to meet you here today?
I mean, it's possible, but no one told me anything.
She looks at you closely, and the tattoo on her neck glows up.
Do I recognize?
I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Okay. 14?
14? Okay. What are you thinking right now? Out of character. Well, in character, out of character.
Pizza.
Just a little confused of why they would send somebody else down.
Okay. Just kind of like trying to think of a reason and not being sure of it.
Yeah.
All right.
But, I mean, he trusts the flame, so if they sent somebody down, it might have been something
All right.
that's important.
All right. Her tattoo stops glowing. And she says, "That's very interesting. You and your companions should get some rest. We don't know when I might need to sound another alarm." She looks up over the wall and sees the smoke kind of in the distance. Even from this distance, it still towers over the edge of the wall. Did not mean to be so stern with you and your companions. I just am running a tight ship. I have one job here, and it's obviously not going quite as well as I always inform. There are reasons.
Well, it's a hard job, you know? I think you're doing the best you can.
She is taken aback by that. Thank you. We've yet to see the impact of the Silver Flame in these times. She kind of breathes a little bit of a sigh of relaxation in this moment, and she nods at you and then goes to her tower where you guys initially were.
And I'll head over to the barracks.
Okay, sounds good. What are you guys doing on the tower wall?
Is there any other stick like the one Darrow is holding, like thrown on the ground?
There's only one stick like this.
Make a nature check.
A nature check.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Oh, I don't know why. That's a 17.
17?
Yep.
You have never seen a stick like this ever. Ever. It's this wooden, it looks, the actual stick itself looks like the most perfect oak stick, plucked perfectly with no sort of cuts or jagged edges on it. And then the branches that come out from the sides where there would be leaves are these perfect little wooden, they look carved to be almost like crystals, but they're wood. And it seems so polished and man-made that you almost feel like there's no way it could be natural.
I'm gonna tilt my
Pretty
head
cool,
to
huh?
a little bit and then go. You have completed your quest of a stick.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh? And then I cast Druidcraft again, and leaves pop out of the end.
Marstone chuckles under his breath.
Huh?
You have powers, or your stick has powers.
The power comes from inside my robot friend.
Hey, Darrow.
As he says that, I'm actually gonna start. Like, you notice that he looks inside. He looks down at his chest and looks at his palms, and then one of them starts shining a little bit, and there's like this little brown thing when it looks like kind of what he has on his eyes, but it's on the inside of the palm, and that starts shining and shining and shining, and then it starts crackling, and then he kind of puts back a little bit his face, puts away his face, and then turns the palm towards you, and then you see all this crackling that starts crackling, and then
a soldier nearby looks and goes, what's it doing?
The fingers like detach from the hand and start hovering around the hand and around this circle, and then he moves the hand away from you guys and towards the wall, and there's this blast of electric energy that swooshes against the wall on the other side and dissipates in the air.
The guard yells down, Shannara!
Hold your tongue! And I start
I
taking
look
notes.
up.
Comes from the inside.
I look up and I say, I'm not with the robot. I had nothing to do with this. And I tuck the stick back into my cloak.
And he stares down at his hand again as the fingers start to slowly going back to the normal position, and looks up again. And nods. And just stares weirdly.
Familiar face comes walking up the steps. What is happening on my walls?
The, Warforged has some magical powers.
Are any of you familiar with Warforged?
Only familiar on how to kill. Warforged, I suppose. I don't know their inner workings. I doubt the druid does.
These things learn very quickly, but they do indeed need to learn, unfortunately. Now, hello, in there? Do you understand me?
Yes.
Right now, until I say it's okay, do not use your powers. Everyone here in the keep is already on edge. They might think you're going to cause danger to them. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Thank you. Going to give...
Power comes from the inside, and it
That-
will stay on the inside.
How profound for such a new construct. Right, if you cause any more trouble, I will have to have Jam take care of you until you can learn. But if these three can keep an eye on you, I have other things I need to do.
Chinara, speaking of Jam,
Yes.
I believe
You also
he
notice,
can-
you guys, real quick, you guys notice, she seems to be like in a slightly better mood right now for some reason.
I was promised a lesson on one of Jam's prototypes. Do you think you could spare him for a moment, perhaps tomorrow, to teach me?
Make a... Did he actually promise you that? Or you doing
no,
a
he did
deception?
not.
Okay, make a deception roll.
Okay. Oh no. Please be
God.
good. 15.
15? Okay. Give me a sec. She leans forward. You do realize what this tattoo means, don't you?
I do not.
Are you aware of what House Madani is hired for?
I am.
Then you should know not to lie to me.
Well. Perhaps that was against my better judgment.
She
But it was
turns
worth it.
slowly. And almost as if the better mood that she's in has got the best of her, or maybe she just simply thinks you guys are maybe a little more harmless and goofy than she initially thought you were a threat. She gives you a little bit of a wink, and then starts to go back down the stairs and head back to her tower.
As they leave, I look at Jam and just I give him a wink, like, I'll get you.
Somewhere, Jam feels your presence.
Oh,
he
Jam
wasn't with
there.
her. He wasn't with you. But he knows you're scheming. Cutting to the barracks. Gabriel, you go into the barracks. Let's see if I can get this going here. This is music. Let's go ahead and do this, and then we'll do maps inside. You venture into the barracks, and you see there's probably 5 or 6 people in here. It's a large round table, barrels and crates everywhere, and bunks. Honestly, it's a fairly well outfitted safe building here. It's made of built of stone. There's banners draped down of House Medani, and you see people taking off their armor, and then 2 people kind of overhanging out with the 2 that you healed during the heat of the battle when the wyvern flew over. And people are just kind of like resting. A couple of them are having conversations. 2 people are sat at the middle table eating. Looks like they are pretty well outfitted here. They're not chewing on rations or anything. They have like access to decent meals, and they're digging right in. They all look kind of shook, obviously, of what happened, but feels better having a closed door behind you and the wall covering the existence of that giant, misty monstrosity outside.
So I'm gonna kind of make my way over to the 2 guards that I healed, and like nodding at everybody, and just giving a warm, friendly presence while I'm there. Which one's Nathan?
One of the soldiers puts his arm on a guy that's like sitting down on a cot, and he's got his head in his hands, and he's leaned over, and he's kind of rocking back and forth a little bit. And he looks up to you, the guy that was rocking back and forth. He looks up while he's sitting there, and looks up and says, "Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's nothing."
No, it's not nothing. It's not nothing at all." When he looks up to you, make a perception check.
Sure. It was a natural 20,
2?
but then
All right.
skirted over to a 2, so a 4.
He seems really shook up. And
Yeah, I'm
the
gonna
breaks in his
kneel.
speech are kind of like, he seems very traumatized, obviously, by something.
I'm gonna kneel down so that way I'm like eye level with him and not like overshadowing him. And I just put my hand on his shoulder. Is everything okay?
No, everything's not okay. Trying to rest, I can't rest. Trying to rest, I can't rest. I just keep seeing them. I just keep seeing them. I'm sorry.
There's
I'm
nothing
sorry.
to apologize for.
He's just rocking back and forth. His hands are now clasped like in between his legs, and his legs are squeezing them together.
Is this the first time you've seen anything like this?
Yeah, yes. saw it all. I saw it all. I saw everything. I saw it all. It's too much.
Survived. It's more than what others get.
Why don't you make a persuasion check with advantage?
Yeah. Good thing it's advantage because you. Hey, look, you're alive, so buck up there. Oh my god! It
Oh
teetered on
boy!
it
Oh
teetered on a-
boy!
Yeah, I'm about to roll regular dice. Ugh.
Too bad you can't. It's a show now. So, what is that total?
9.
Okay. He goes, yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe. Surviving, yeah, maybe.
I won't lie to you. It is horrible. It is hard to deal with. But there's a reason why you're here. The flame brought you here. It brings everyone where they need to go. So if you're here for a reason.
And you hear me in the background. Amen, brother. Amen.
Do you walk in right now?
Yeah, I'll walk in. Sorry.
Okay. Darrow walks in.
That's all I say. It's just
There's-
amen.
There's like a bunch of murmuring going on. It's like a bunch of people kind of looking over and seeing the shifter walk in.
It's okay not to have strength now, but I know that you'll find it in time.
Thanks, I appreciate what you're saying. One of the other soldier buddies kind of pats him on the back and says, "Big guy needs rest, I think. Come on, let's lay you down for a bit. Go, hey Darrow, go get the weighted blanket." And one of the other soldiers, who just happens to be named Darrow, goes over and
Oh wait, me? No, him? Me? Him?
there's a little bit of like a who you me yeah, no, who are you?
Okay.
But he goes over and gets a blanket which looks heavy, and brings it over, and they lay him down, and he's still rocking, and then they lay him down and lay the blanket over him, and one of the guys stays with the two that are really suffering, and then the other guys kind of disperse, and you see them visibly like take their armor off, and they're just like shaking their heads and sweating.
I stand up and turn towards Darrow. Do you follow the light?
No, I just honestly liked what you were saying, man. It was great. You made that guy feel good.
It's just the truth.
Whatever you say.
One of the guards at the table eating says, "You're way more devout than that other guy that showed up."
Is he here?
No, I think Chinara sent him away for whatever reason. Thought maybe you guys sent two guys on accident or something. I don't know.
It couldn't have been.
That's the guy that usually comes, though. So if I were her, I'd be more concerned about who you were, to be honest. And he takes a bite out of an apple.
What did he look like?
Oh, sorry.
Make a persuasion check.
Sure. Finally, 19.
A 19? He said, just your standard. He had long black hair, and silver flame, heavy armor on, rode in on a horse. Had all the silver flame regalia all over the horse and everything, too. Comes in every month.
Does it sound like anybody that I know? Just off the brief description.
Make a history check.
Sure. I am proficient in it. 14.
14. Okay, you. Let's see. You're coming from. Nah, it doesn't sound like anybody familiar. Certainly not anybody you've heard of or dealt with from your small town. It doesn't sound like anybody that's famous within the Flame, like at Flame Keep or anything. Nothing rings a bell.
Well, I hope the road is easy getting back.
He just shrugs and keeps eating his food. What are you guys up on the wall doing, real quick? As the sun starts to slowly go down, almost as if a nightlight. The light around you, as people start turning on flames and lanterns and light in the fort, the sky and the area around you gets darker, but the wall of mist almost seems to not even change in brightness. It just lights up a wall in this pale gray essence that just it's hard not to look at. It almost feels like taunting.
As I notice that they are turning on lanterns and whatever, I'm gonna cast light again on my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna start walking towards Marstone. And I'm gonna just face him straight forward, which means both beams of light are gonna be on his face. Like completely unaware about
like a car? Like just headlights?
Yeah, how bothering this could be for him. You can kill me.
I'm sorry. What?
You mentioned you know how to kill me.
Yes, I know how to kill a great many things.
Why?
It's my job.
Your job is to kill things.
Part of it, yes. The other part, and I kind of motion him over, and I show him some of the notes that I've taken, and I use the end of my pipe to kind of flip through some of the pages. In the time that I've been up here, I've filled up probably 2.5 pages, and the last page and a half has actually been about this particular Warforged. So I kind of scooch over those real quick. And I show him some of the notes, and I say, you see, my job is to study creatures, fighters from different parts of our world. Take notes on their weaknesses, their styles, what they do, how they fight, the weaponry they use, and so on. And I use this information to my benefit. It's how I survived the war, and it's how I now benefit the college. Does that make sense?
You are not a prototype.
Very much not, no. We're a very established and regular line of creatures here in Eberron.
Have you seen more of me? Alive?
Nothing quite like you, but yes. Warforged are common in this world.
Where?
Everywhere. Frankly, I'm not sure why there's none here at the keep, but anywhere you go, you may see Warforged working in forges or studying books. It almost seems like you would be the type to dabble in words, books, knowledge, that sort of thing.
Words and knowledge. Yes. Maybe. I am not prototype.
No, you're not.
Do
Marstone?
they remember?
Marstone, make an investigation check.
Okay.
Something seems very weird about this Warforged compared to other ones that you've seen before.
10.
10?
Mm-hmm.
Something about the rune, the mark on the forehead. Very strange. Also, he's wearing a scarf.
Yeah. I do notice that.
It almost seems like a fashion statement more than like practicality for like a Warforged soldier, so to speak, to be going into battle.
Yeah, so that seems kind of odd. So I'm gonna kind of point up at his forehead and I'm gonna say, your Gulra is not familiar to me. Do you know anything about it? Do you remember anything?
About what?
Well, your Gulra, the marking on your forehead.
Make a history check for me, Marstone.
Right.
Or in general intelligence, either one, whatever's higher.
I'm going with history because it's gonna be a +4. 23.
Ooh. That
23
is, that is the mark of making.
Ooh.
Typical of House Cannith workers.
I take a closer look at it and I say, oh wait, Cannith. You are very unique.
Like you would know, Marstone, that, Warforged, they were built by that house.
Yeah.
But
Typically the
why
marking-
would they mark, like, it doesn't make sense why they would mark it.
Right.
Especially with the dragon mark, which does obviously is a gift given to more humanoid beings. So like something doesn't add up.
I am going to flip through my little notebook all the way towards the beginning, and I'm going to pull up some of the dragon markings that I've kind of crudely copied down inside of it. And I'm going to show him a picture of the mark of Cannith.
Sure.
And I'm going to say, this is on your forehead. That is your Gulra.
Ulra is drawing on my forehead.
Sort of, yes. It's something I've learned from my Warforged compatriots. It's a sort of unique identifier. Every Warforged has one, right on their forehead. And yours happens to be the marking, specifically the dragon mark, of the House of Cannith.
I have a house?
It would appear so.
I don't remember having a house or a gulrag.
What do you remember? I'm going to flip to the freshest page.
Nightmare clouds. Evil. Lots of them.
Franco, you want to do a check?
Okay.
Give me just a general wisdom check. 15 is what
16.
you needed. When he says house, a memory appears. A door opens in front of you, revealing this familiar white wasteland. Sky covered by gray smoke. In front of you, some large, very large contraption destroyed and half sunk into this sooty sand about 50 feet from you. As you take a couple steps down what would be some sort of porch, you turn around and you see this pretty much wrecked house sitting in the middle of the wasteland. That's all you remember.
I tilt my head to a side very awkwardly. Again, the beams of light on Marstone's face once again. I had a house inside the nightmare cloud.
In the morning.
I believe in the morning, in the night, and in the evening.
Oh no, I'm sorry. The nightmare cloud that you refer to, is it not the morning? The fog across the river, and I point out across
It rumbles and faces just topple over each other in agony in this giant wall of smoke.
I don't know the name. Is that the name?
It used to be a place, a kingdom, called Sire. Some called it Seer. Seery, things of that nature, depending on where you're from. But yes, it is now the Mournland, and this fog that you see in front of you is a result of the mourning.
I came out of my house, and it was already there. The nightmare cloud.
You have no recollection before that.
Almost 2 years ago.
My. I continue jotting down notes, and I say, I'll definitely need to.
At this point, you
Study
guys see
each of
whoever's up on the wall. You see a group as it's starting to get dark. You see a group of lanterns to signify a group of soldiers or people approaching the front gates of the keep. And the gates open, and they sort of scurry in every direction. Not necessarily running, but everyone seems to be swapping places. And a group of 4 or 5 of them go over to the tower, to Chinara's tower. And then a lot of the guards seem to be swapping. Some push past you. As they push past you on the tower walls, a couple of them kind of say, "Be careful."
Changing of shifts, no doubt.
Indeed.
Perhaps it's time for us to turn in then.
One other soldier passes by and goes, "1 week to go." And they kind of they grab each other's shoulders in camaraderie and go down the staircase as 2 other soldiers kind of push past individually.
Marstone
Yeah.
is a name.
Yes.
He kind of looks down at his chest and again at his hands. Grabs the scarf and kind of moves his fingers around it as if he could feel the actual fabric. I don't am a name.
You don't have a name.
I don't.
Hmm.
Do Warforged that you kill have names?
The Warforged I kill, yes, and the Warforged I befriend. They all have names. Some given by friends, some given by themselves. Do you have a name you'd like to go by?
What is like?
What is a name? A good name?
I don't know what like is.
Like? It's, well, that's a rather profound question.
It was a nightmare. A long nightmare. 2 years. I don't have a name. Could you give me a name?
Perhaps in time.
Time. Yes. Time. Woman with pointy ears had a ghoul rag on her neck, too.
Not quite. Not a Gulra. That was a dragon mark. Gulra are specific to Warforged. Her mark is similar, but different.
Oh. Similar but different.
Come. Let's
Not
go to
a
the...
prototype.
No, not a prototype. Come with me. We'll go to the barracks. We'll get some food, and I'll teach you some of the things that I know.
What is food? as we just go down the stairs and keep talking nonsense.
Yeah. Another flash of lightning kind of lights up the smoke across the river in the distance as the nighttime fully rolls in here. Everybody piles into the barracks. So in walks, let's see, inside. So in walks Marstone. Where's Zyxx, by the way, in all of this?
I was hiding and listening the whole time.
Okay.
And then I ran, followed them down all sneaky like, and then
All right.
ran in.
All right, sounds good. So Zyxx, the Warforged, and Marstone all pile in to the barracks. And you see in here Gabriel and Darrow. You know, Gabriel's trying to help people. Darrow's kind of hanging off of his shoulder, you know, nudging him and making jokes and trying to lighten the mood. After you guys enter in, shortly behind you, you know, some of the feeling well soldiers in here swap as a group of 4 more soldiers come in and start taking off their armor now. Everybody make a perception check as this happens.
13.
Ugh. 7.
5.
10.
We're too distracted, Darrow.
Yeah. So Darrow is like halfway through his stand-up routine as Gabriel's still tending to the 2 very ill people.
I would be talking to Darrow about like his beliefs and you know where he kind of basically how he came over here and stuff like that. So
Gotcha. Okay.
Trying to convert me.
yeah,
So
absolutely. I have it in my notes too. You can
So-
choose an aiming, brother.
what's the highest ones we got? 2 10s?
I got a 13.
A 13. Okay. So the 2 10s. So the 10 for Mr. Warforged, who I'm not quite sure if they have a name quite yet or not. You hear 2 of the soldiers kind of bumping into each other, taking their armor off, coming in from outside, and you hear one of them mutter to the other guy, "Yeah, it's still out there somewhere. We'll get it. Probably fly back in anyway." The other guy just says, "Yeah, you might be right. Let's get some rest, and next squad will have to deal with it." And then, Marstone, for your role, the 4th troop that walks in almost alienates himself from everyone else immediately and like goes around the outside of the room and is kind of looking downwards and looks very nervous.
I am going to kind of place a hand on the back of the Warforged that I walked in with and kind of point over the table. The other people that have kind of that were in the room in Shannara's tower. I'm going to say, "Why don't you have a seat with them for a minute?"
Yes. I walk over.
And then I'm going to approach the nervous soldier.
Okay. He starts taking off some of his armor, takes off his helmet. He's got dirty blonde hair down to like his shoulders and looks younger. Looks almost actually like Gabriel's age, to be honest.
Okay.
Half elf, ears slightly pointed, pronounced cheekbones, but just sweating.
You've seen something.
Huh. Nothing to report. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. This barracks are for Madani soldiers. I don't know who you are.
A scholar of Reckonmark.
Reckonmark.
Yes,
From Carnath.
indeed. You know your geography. Geography. Very good. I got that right the first time.
Are you... I'm sorry, you're probably of higher rank than me. I apologize, I'm just trying to get some rest.
Perhaps a good idea, but maybe I could bring you a drink first. I found
Make
the
a persuasion check.
found the mead at the keepers. It's rather nice when I've stayed here in the past. Oh, that's perception. It's still
Happy for the reroll.
Yeah. Not by much. It's an 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
that's
not-
because you're not the
I'm not very
charisma.
charming.
For
yeah.
well, yeah, you're playing him pretty charming.
Yeah.
Something's hindering it. What's hindering it? Is it the giant skull of the sheep on your shoulder?
It could be that. It could be that I'm kind of ugly looking.
You're
I
just
look mean.
intense. You're
Yeah, I
just
look mean.
intense. Yeah. He says, "Oh no, that's all right. I'm fine. I just maybe need some sleep. But thank you so much."
Be around if you need to talk about it.
He just goes over to a bunk, and he doesn't even take off the rest of his armor. He just sets the helmet down on the bunk and sits there.
I like lift my tunic and I smell under the furs. I go. I haven't
Okay, a
been
couple
drinking-
people see you.
That's fine. I kind of
You sniff and then like look up, and 2 other guards are just kind of eating food and drop their food onto their plates as you do that.
I explained to them. I say, I've been traveling for a week. Reckonmark is quite far away. I should perhaps find a bath, and then I retreat back to the table where everybody else is.
All right.
This food is surprisingly delicious.
What do you do with food? Why do you put it on your mouth?
Because most, I am up and down creatures, need food to survive.
Ah, yes, it makes sense. You are not prototypes.
No, I'm not.
Where do you get your energy then? Do you not consume like birds or vegetable matter?
I do not know. And I am supposed to not use my energy until the woman says so.
That's a little weird. But can I have his if he's not gonna eat? I'll take the robot's food.
So you look around, Zyxx, and you don't know when or how this happened, but at some point the guards have slowly started to just give you this big middle table, and they're all sitting on bunks on the outer sides of the rooms, all kind of like hanging out and watching you as a group like you're a movie. Like they are enthralled by you guys.
I pull up a spot at the table and just kind of sit grumpily.
What are we eating?
There's all sorts of cool stuff around. There is usual rationy type stuff, but there's also barrels full of supplies for just like lots of really nice fruits and vegetables. There are lots of dried jerkies, and there's even a platter of what looks like was some sort of roasted meat, which has been sitting for not too long, but they're preparing food. It might be like in another room attached to this building, but someone is preparing nice food and bringing it out for the soldiers. So there's
So-
some roasted meats and some vegetables prepared. On the corner, you might see a little rice stacked on top of another pile of rice.
I take a piece of the roasted meat
Mm-hmm.
and I look over at the Warforged and I'm like, "Hey, robot, try to eat this. I just want to see what happens."
I am unfamiliar with what you need me to do.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, you gotta show
open
it.
your mouth. Open.
Okay, he kind of follows the
And
hand.
then I
I
stick.
don't know if this is a
Oh,
You
good
pick
idea.
up. It's basically like this small leg of lamb that's been beautifully seasoned and has like a nice sear on the skin, and it just smells. Even though it's not quite hot anymore, it smells super good, almost like
I-
Mediterranean style.
We'll take a bite first,
Mm-hmm.
and then I put it up to his mouth to see if he'll do the same.
He just doesn't. I don't chew. He just stares at you.
I
You just
push
like mush it
more.
up against his face.
Yeah, I push more.
All right, all of this greasy leg of lamb, starts to wipe all over the metal face.
No.
And the part, like the little pieces of seasoning are like sticking. It's like he's got glitter, on his around his mouth.
And I just go, "Well, that didn't work," and so I just start eating again.
I don't think I need food to recover
Whoa.
energy.
That was-
Maybe.
I have
What do you need then?
I am not entirely sure. Maybe I am a prototype. I don't have a name, but I have this. And he points at his forehead. It is a Guldarak. Marstone taught me, and we Warforged learn very fast.
You don't
He
have a
is
name?
Extremely intelligent, but no, he does not have a name.
Maybe we should give him one.
We could,
Maybe
or
he
he
should
could.
pick his.
a soldier in the
own.
background is just like, give a name.
Let's
Mind
name
your
him.
business.
You want to
What do
roll
you want to
intimidation
call
check?
yourself?
Yeah, sure.
Go for it.
That's a straight up 0 because I have a negative
They-
2 on intimidation.
They chuckle. A couple of them chuckle. They think you're just egging them on.
You're just spitting food out of your mouth.
They're like soldiers. They're just like pushing the guy that said it out loud.
I'm
I
gonna
get
wipe my
tired.
face with the scarf. And then I'm gonna grab some water from the table and actually clean the scarf and put it back on.
Wait, Mr. Warforged, can you put your neck thing, your scarf, put it over your mouth, and then when it's all muffled, say oil can. Like I think it'd be funny.
Why are you doing this to him?
We're just bullying him.
You don't have to do that.
Do you take pride in picking on children?
So
I mean, no, sir.
I think we should give the Warforged a name. And from what I have read about Warforged, they generally will accept whatever name you give them.
You can.
So I'd
read.
like to propose a name.
My eyes get real big. Like any name, like he's just like a million things are going through his head of how to manipulate this to name him something like Pancake. Like
Yeah, Zyxx is used to be like spouting off ridiculousness.
I think that most people don't get to pick their names, and
Thank you,
Respect.
Gabriel.
but this is a good opportunity for the Warforged to pick his own.
Precisely.
Well, I have a
Darrow.
suggestion because all he can say is like 3 words.
That's not true.
4 tops. Warforged.
Darrow, he's been talking to us all.
He has a fairly extensive vocabulary.
If anything, I think that it's you that has the limited vocabulary.
I dare say that
Oh my god! Cleric with the burn!
the young cleric is quite correct. In fact, I was shocked to find out you could read.
Zyxx, I look over at Zyxx. Are you gonna let them talk to me like this?
I was just as surprised that you could read, my friend. I'm sorry.
Can Mr. Warforged, would you be okay with me suggesting a name for you?
You can make suggestions. I think you are all free.
Okay.
Very, very aware, though, that this is merely a suggestion. You do not
Just a
have to
suggestion.
stick with this.
Right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the Warforged makes 5, right?
He can count. Takes
Okay. Johnny number 5.
Oh, I like it.
What do you think?
I am unaware of the meaning.
I had an idea.
Why'd you name a Wolfos, John?
Your name
I
could
was
be
wondering
Echo,
exactly
'cause
the
you're good
same
at
thing.
Echoing what we say.
I am confused.
That's okay. Why
Uh,
don't you
that
come
would
up
be
with a name?
cute. Nah.
Maybe. Someday. On the evening. Or not on the morning. The morning gave birth to Nightmare Cloud. Marstone taught me that.
He's a very quick study.
Yeah, whatever you say, John.
Oh, you can't go calling him John just because you suggested Johnny number 5.
The doors open, and Shannara walks in.
I edge Marstone. I'm like, look who it is, bro. Because I saw the wink.
I turn around.
I trust you are all getting acquainted with our supplies and food, and getting adequate rest.
Yes. The food is excellent here. Very good at the keep, actually.
Yes, well, we get as you know, we get a pretty hefty allowance for doing what we do here, so we like to make sure our soldiers are well taken care of. Speaking of which, enjoy your meal. And she walks over to that one sketched out soldier that walked in.
Okay.
The young half-elf. And she sits down and starts, speaking to him very quietly. The room kind of goes back to a low murmur, people having conversations.
I pay particular attention to them. I
All
just
right.
want to, I'm going to
Yeah,
focus
can we
on
hear
what
them?
they're doing.
Sure, if you're actively trying to listen in to eavesdrop, then make a perception check.
Yeah, I look over as well, just because kind of just
14.
worried about all the soldiers
Ooh,
here.
natural
Ooh.
20.
Nice.
15.
Not as stupid as you guys thought, am I?
Looking.
Yeah,
That's staring at the thing you're listening to.
I can hear really good.
you're just like straight up.
Shut your mouth! I like
So-
a dinner roll in his mouth.
Oh, you guys all did pretty decent. So, Scholar, Gabriel, and Zyxx, you guys all quietly listen in. You can hear murmurs from the other soldiers. They're all talking about how some of them seem pretty split on the name. Some of them are saying Johnny's a stupid name. And then some of them are doing conspiracy theories as to why 5 is in there, and they're talking about the fifth day, and this on the morning, and blah, blah, blah. Like you hear them conspirizing, trying to figure out what you meant by it, some kind of crazy Warforged meaning, and then so Gabriel, Zyxx, Scholar, you overhear Shannara consoling this young half-elf, and she seems to be very considerate and nice. You just hear her saying, how's things going? I noticed you were a little bit uneasy. Seems like she's being pretty nice to him. Darrow, however, you see that just between some of the threads of her hair, the faint glow of her neck tattoo lighting up. And then they get up, and she says, "Enjoy." And she escorts this soldier out of the barracks.
Okay. So
What does he look like as he's leaving?
Make an insight check.
That's a natural 20 for 23.
Oh!
Nice.
He looks like he's in trouble. Like he's a kid that's in trouble.
So, I kind of like get everybody to lean in, and I'm whispering now, and I'm like, guys, I don't know if any of you guys noticed this, but when Chernar was talking to the soldier, her
Gabriel shakes his head. Every time he says
I say it wrong every time. Her neck, the tattoo on her neck was lighting up, like almost, I don't know, like a spell or something.
her neck tattoo lit up whenever she was talking to me as well, but
Did you feel anything?
No.
I just thought it was
It's
odd.
just something whenever she pays attention. I don't know.
I would know about this, I think, right? Just the
Would
general,
make sense.
the general house marks.
Let's see. Madani in particular, make an intelligence check or a history, whatever's better for you.
12.
12? Okay, yeah. 12 is good enough. She has a dragon mark.
Yeah.
When people use their abilities, which usually they're hired in their houses for, is their innate abilities to do things really well because of their dragon marks, you know that they glow when their abilities are being used. So when a spell is being cast of some sort, yeah.
Okay.
What? I mean, I guess Zyxx would not know this, but so never mind. I won't ask.
Marstone, what do you have in your journal about this stuff? Anything?
Yes, small bits of information. Madani. Well, there's a good chance that she was perhaps reading your emotions or thoughts or something like that. Getting a better feel for you, basically.
Witchcraft.
I mean, that would make sense.
Coming from a druid, that comment is rather
Strange.
strange, yes.
It is what it is.
Bro druid. Has this ever happened? It is what it is. It's gonna be a great
I
campaign,
believe
guys.
you would say that.
All right, at this point, Chanara walks back in to the room. She looks over sternly at some of the other soldiers in their bunks. She says, "And none of you others saw this?" The guards kind of all just shake their heads and look at her confused.
Hey, Miss Boss Lady. I mean, we're just trying to we're relaxing. You know, it's been a long day. Crazy things came out. You don't need to yell at these guys.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh no.
Oh man, that's not.
Zyxx, what are you?
We're the wrong group to.
Yeah. We should all just be
Oh my
quiet.
For speaking.
What's going on?
She turns down to you, Zyxx, like halfway through you saying that, and just says, "Stop!
Okay.
I'm addressing my troops,
Uh,
who have not been forthcoming on their inspection of the North."
Do we notice if her neck tattoo's lit up again, or can we see it?
It is not lit up.
Okay.
She says, "I have to send a whole nother group up now in the middle of the night. Otherwise, everything could be compromised." And the
what could be
doors get
compromised?
the
You're
doors
talking
get thrown
riddle.
open again. And Jam walks in.
Somebody's got to put a lock on that door.
Jam walks in now, and he
trying to
holds
sleep.
both doors open. And Jam has like 7 monocles on, like overlapping each other, smaller and smaller and smaller. And he leans into Chinara and says,
3 more inches.
she turns to him and then looks back at you guys sitting at the table. Did
hear
an-
her say that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you did. Jam has no social skills. He just said it out loud. She turns back to you guys and just says, "Did any of you come from the north?"
To us?
Jam, close the door! Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, I want to see if he stays or leaves. Hold on. He leaves, he closes the door and just like, okay, and closes the door and leaves. And leaves Chinara there.
Can I sneak out the door with him just to then seconds later open the door like rah? Yeah.
If
We
you would
gotta
like
go
to
lock
make
on
a
that door.
stealth check.
Sorry, what did you say?
If you would like to make a stealth check and actually do it, yeah. We don't say no at this table.
Oh, double 17s on disadvantage, so 23.
Nice.
23?
Let's go.
Yeah, she turns and says, have any of you been through the north? And the doors open again, and Zyxx is there.
I want to know who's been to the west. You? How about you?
I
We got real
palm
quiet.
my face.
Yes, I came from the north.
And you know that I also came from the north, Gennaro.
The forest. Just north of here.
I pointed
You,
to
druid. Is this where you came from?
exactly where north,
Did you see anything strange?
as in
Speak to me.
yes, sir, ma'am. Strange as in there's a lot of weird stuff in the north. Like
Out of the ordinary. One of my scouts saw something disturbing.
Like what?
Black energies and something akin to the mist. Did you see it?
No.
Make a deception check.
And I was like, I kind of like tug on his shirt, and I'm just like, I think you saw it, but
Make a deception check.
We totally saw it. Yeah.
Oh god. 12?
12?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see. Surprisingly, it looks like she believes you.
I didn't say yes out loud though. It's just in my head. And I slapped his Zyxx on the side.
I and the rest of my troops, and she looks around to all the resting troops, need to go watch the wall right now. Can you go secure the border? Can you go up to the forest? See whatever he was talking about. Are you capable?
Us? All of us?
Yes?
Guys? I don't even know half these people yet.
You're all sitting together at the center table.
Not my choice.
I mean, you sat down on your own.
Yeah, it was kind of a choice. I chose to sit here.
Look at these
Everyone,
guards.
leave the wounded, leave the sick, let's go. And everyone, one of the soldiers is just like, what about Nathan? Leave him, he'll be fine. We need to go right now. Something could come through any moment. If it's encroaching on that river any longer, it'd be take the entirety of the water and then move on to our shores. We need to go now. Order. You. Go. She just starts pointing to people and then she stows, she starts to unpack and unsheath the rifle and barges out the doors. And you see Jam was like listening on the other side and he gets blown backwards a little bit by the doors and then stands to attention. She just says, Jam, get your things. And now there's like soldiers moving around you constantly. Like everyone's like gearing back up.
So much for a meal.
Tell me about it.
I get up and I kind of use my halberd to stand myself up.
Yeah, I stand up as well.
Yeah, same.
It's the least that we can do for their hospitality. We do have a full belly, except for our Warforged companion.
We still gotta figure out what he eats.
They don't need anything. And I turn and leave.
Okay, so who leaves in what order? This is important.
I'm gonna follow Marstone. I'm gonna be all this time gonna be kind of close to him, shadowing him a little bit, unless he does something specific like tapping me on the back and saying go over there with them to the table, because he's shown a little bit of like kindness or maybe explain a few things to me, while other people try to shove food up my mouth. So he's gonna be a little bit closer to him for time being.
Yep, I'm gonna be the first one out the door.
I'll probably either be the second or if he's
yeah, close second, close third. Yeah.
Okay. So.
All right.
Darrow, are you going?
Yeah, I'll go, and then Zyxx right behind because his feet are
Alrighty.
small.
All right. So Zyxx is the last one out?
I grab some lamb and then I walk out. Yeah.
Okay. It's delicious. Albeit lukewarm, room temperature, but it's still delicious. Which I believe isn't really an issue for goblins, I don't think, with digesting things. They don't give a shit.
I've seen him eat it. And he's
probably eating live birds and stuff.
Yes.
and me being a
Goes
druid,
down
you know.
easy. So, you all head out. Zyxx, make a perception check as you leave.
13.
13? Okay. 13. Everyone is left except for the two sick people. As you leave last, you hear one of them coughing violently, like very ill coughing.
Can I get a look at him? Maybe I'll run back in and just be like, "Are you okay? I mean, we gotta go take care of stuff, but don't die."
Make a medicine check.
17.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
He is coughing like a sick person would with a cold or a flu.
So it's
However, as he's coughing, there's the faint roll of smoke coming out of the corners of his mouth as he stops coughing. Almost like a candle that's just been put out.
hey, buddy. And I don't really want to get close to him. So
He slowly opens his eyes after coughing, and his eyes are also very cloudy. Pupils are almost like you can't almost see them.
Yeah, I hear in Sharn they have some cataract surgery that can clear that right up. You're gonna be fine.
What do you do?
I kind of like look at him. How far away are the my friends now? Are they
They're outside.
within earshot, basically.
If you yelled, they could probably hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So this is really weird and gross, but I can cast Mage Hand.
Yes.
It's a bunch of bugs. So I kind of want to I just don't. He's not answering, and I'm kind of weirded out. So I want to cast Mage Hand to kind of nudge his shoulder to be like, "Are you okay?" I've seen some creepy stuff before, and this looks creepy.
Okay. So the bugs come out and form a floating hand.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay. And they go over to touch him. This guy immediately starts freaking out. I'm not even gonna lie to you. He's like looking at a swarm of bugs, and a goblin's like, "Hey, are you okay?" He's just starting to freak out. You just hear him like, "Ah, ah, ah."
I could see where that would be really scary. I'm sorry.
He's like trying to swat them away.
All right. Well, you get better. Drink here, and I pour him a glass of water. Here, drink your fluids, and you'll get right as rain. Okay. Bye.
He covers himself with the blanket, and is shivering and murmuring to himself. You guys all hear some screaming coming from inside the barracks as you leave.
Oh man, those guys are loud going to sleep. Isn't that weird? They're just screaming. Anyway.
Everything okay?
It had nothing to do with you, I'm sure.
Yeah, no. He's good. His eyes were a little cloudy. He's got a cough. I think he's seeing bugs.
Cloudy?
He just said some weird stuff. Don't trust him, whatever he says.
I'm going to try to determine what would cause somebody to have cloudy eyes and hallucinate.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to make a medicine check, or would you just like to do?
Yeah, we'll do a medicine
All right,
check,
go for a medicine check. See if you've heard of an ailment like this before.
14.
14. Cloudy eyes, hallucinations. Not something that you're familiar with.
Might be something new, or maybe something from the cold from the Mourland. I look over at the Warforged and kind of just step back just a little bit.
From the Mournland. Could it have anything to do with the wyvern that we saw earlier?
I mean, possibly. Maybe it was carrying some kind of bacteria or virus.
You think
we've
he's
got-
infected?
Could be.
We've got work to do for Chinara, but if you'd like, it might be wise to check on this guy.
Should we tell somebody? Maybe
Group
Jan?
2, it's me! West Wall! Now! Go! You see just Chinara with Jam with her, climbing up the stairs and just ordering groups. They're climbing on each side of the stairs, going up to either side of the walls, and lots of people are now forming at the battlements that are overlooking the river. Almost the entire fort seems to be on alert right now. And you look up, and the wall of smoke, of mist, is lit up and churning at a faster pace than it was before.
I turn to Gabriel and I tell him, if you're going to do something, it needs to be now. And then I'm going to go up by Chinara.
Yeah. I'm kind of just gonna sit there for a second, and then I'll run up to Chinara as well. I know this is probably not the best time, but maybe quarantine your men in there. They seem to be coming down with something I've never heard of before.
Make a persuasion check. She's
The best
currently
person with. Oh, there it is. Natural 20.
nice,
There it
nice,
For
nice.
21.
She just looks at you and says, "Silver Flame, I trust you. I'll have somebody go watch.
Thank you.
Now, please secure the forest to the north."
Before we leave, what did your man see?
Said he saw something like a sink of water, black in color, at the overlook.
Very well. Darrow, is he up here? Or over here, rather? Like, did you come with us to see
I did
Janara?
not.
Okay. Then I say his name and I look around and I just kind of give a real quick, like, chest salute and quick bow to Chinar, and I turn and I go back to find the rest of the guys.
I don't think none of you would like on the other side. We should leave here quickly.
Sorry, what, Johnny?
Stop calling him Johnny.
That's his name. Dang
It's not
it.
his name. He hasn't
It is.
chosen one yet. Do you know of an overlook in the woods to the north?
I do.
Can you take us there?
I can.
Are you sure? You don't sound very confident.
I'm just busting out my old map of the Elden Reaches.
Goblin, do you know of this overlook?
He has a name.
He's
Thank
he's
you.
gone. Like, you look around and you don't even see Zyxx anymore.
Okay.
You have no idea where Zyxx is.
Where is everybody going? Fine. Lead us to the overlook, please. Quickly.
Tally-ho.
You guys all going?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm going to trust that he knows where he's going, yeah.
Darrow?
I'm gonna put a hand on his shoulder and kind of pull him in a little bit close. We're counting on you.
I'm here for you guys. Buds.
The flame will help you lead the way.
I feel it deep inside.
I'm gonna.
All right.
I'm
I
gonna
smile.
take the-
I'm starting to like his religion.
Darrow, I'm gonna need either a nature or a survival, whichever you want.
Right before we leave, I'm gonna take a quick run up the stairs, and I'm gonna tap the shoulder of Chinara. Am I allowed to use the power inside me now?
Are you going with them to the forest?
Yes.
Yes, by all means. Just not in the camp.
Yes. Thank you. I turn
And-
around and run downstairs again.
Make a perception check as you turn around.
Yeah.
I'm kind of gonna turn to the open. Do I see Zyxx anywhere?
91.
Zyxx, are you there?
Yeah, I think I'm here.
Yeah, Zyxx is back.
Okay.
I did have to get water. I'm sorry.
Zyxx is back. What'd you get?
It's a 1.
A 1. Okay, you're just running down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
My survival check was 19.
19. Yes,
I told
absolutely.
you guys.
You make your way back up to, well, first and foremost, you follow the river up to the path that leads up the hill into the woods just north of the keep. As you're traveling across, everyone make a perception check.
Mm-hmm. Cocked on
21.
20.
Very nice.
Do we know the name of the river?
This river is gonna be... We do know the name of the river.
That was a 19 for me.
Oh.
All those are very good. So,
It's not Wynarn, is it?
Is it the Bray?
give me a sec. So, the Bray River that connects to Lake Bray, which technically is Breland, that would probably end at the corner of the keep, but the one you're going north up to the Thornwood would just be a part of the Scion Sound coming in from the ocean. Just a long ways off. It's actually it probably is technically the Bray River that connects to the Scion Sound, but just because of country borders, it's awkward. But for your perception checks, let's look at these. So, Darrow and I've got 2 rolls from Franco.
You did? Why?
Oh, that was 3 minutes. That was 3 minutes ago. Never mind.
Yes,
So
19.
Darrow and Mr. Warforged, which I hope we can stop calling him pretty soon. You guys look across the river, and the smoke wall most definitely, for you, Darrow, it's definitely closer to on the water than it was when you came down. 100%. Like, you cannot see the shore on the other side anymore.
Okay.
Same with you. With the Warforged, you look across and you start seeing things dancing across the water made of smoke. You see a soldier walking across the rapids, and you see another soldier made of smoke run over to him and pierce a sword through him, and he falls into the river, and the smoke kind of dissipates. Visions that you remember seeing while you were inside.
We need to hurry up and get away from the nightmare cloud. This will not end well.
So I look at, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to have you guys continue, so you go ahead.
I was just going to say I look at the group and I let them know that it's definitely getting closer to us for some reason. It's a lot closer than it was when we first started out.
Well, hopefully whatever we see up here puts an end to it.
So you easily lead them back up the path, which is a little tiring, but you do make it up to the overlook where you can see the wall of smoke of the Mournland and the keep. And you see down at the keep the little specks of the soldiers all frantically running around, facing this wall of smoke that seems to be pressing forwards over the river. And you make it back up to the opening where you remember seeing and breaking and falling the crescent tree from before. However, now the tree's remains are no longer there. As you see, in its place, a pool of black, swirling, ichor-like substance. And around the rim of it, many, many, many of these little, almost termite-like bugs, tracing small bits of smoke trails behind them, walking very slowly around it.
I look over at Zyxx and I ask him, have you seen bugs like this before?
Have I, Mr. DM?
Make a history check. Or just a general intelligence, because you have.
9.
9? So, it happened to you before, so the check wasn't very high. These appear to be the white or grayish bugs that came out of the tree as it was snapped by Darrow. And then sat a ring around the base of the tree before you left.
Yeah. And then they weren't flying, right? They were kind of
Nope.
like consuming the tree, or...
Correct. Your nature knowledge between you and Darrow, you would know that like this, it could be like some sort of termite-like bug,
Yeah.
but not ones that trace around small smoke trails and
Yeah.
and follow and do like whatever this is, like just all ringed around this thing in order. Like this is not.
Yeah, there's like a symmetry.
Bugs don't perform rituals, right?
Yeah. The center of this is black. Is it almost
Yes.
like a
It's
portal?
churning, almost just twisting circular downwards. There are little tiny faint specks of floating light. Almost like spores floating off from a fungus in the woods, but black. And they're just hovering and soaring above this pool.
Yeah, Darrow, I mean, this is what destroyed your branch tree. I haven't seen it before since that day, though. Yesterday. Today? I don't know.
I'm
It's been a
gonna
while.
start slowly approaching it, and I'm gonna cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay.
So basically, feel the presence of apparition, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of me.
Okay. You do.
Which one?
They're all around the pool.
All of it?
All the little termite-like bugs radiate the energy that you detect. Everyone make a perception check.
So I detect undead from them as well?
Does it say that I have to specify, or does it just say you
Yes.
detect any of these things?
Do
Do I just have to give you a
I
green
know
light, red
if-
light?
I know if there is an apparition, celestial, elemental, fiend,
Mhm.
fey, or undead within, as well as where the creature's located. Same thing with an object.
Okay, they're aberrations.
Okay.
So, what do we got here for perception checks? We got Zyxx with a 14, 6, Scholar 14.
17.
16.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know why my bonuses aren't being applied.
Okay. So, for anything less than 15, you guys all look closely, and once in a while, you will see one of these small little bugs will fall into the pool, and you'll see its faint little smoky light spin and then disappear into whatever this blackness is. From time to time, you'll also see one start to float upwards from its train of bugs going around in a circle. You'll see one float upwards and go black and turn into one of these little globules of light. Those of you, which I believe were Marstone and Gabriel, hear a sound coming from a little further away, but definitely from behind you, in the direction that you came. And it's hard to describe. Maybe a scream?
Gabriel's gonna slowly, like he was kind of walking forward to detect, and then once he feels that they're apparitions, he's gonna slowly start, walking backwards towards the group again.
Okay.
I'm going to do like a combined about face ready stance once I hear that noise. And just kind of get into a semi-defensive pose. With the halberd
So, like, you literally turn around and get your weapon out?
Yeah, I turn
Okay.
like thinking that it might be a scream. I turn around and I start becoming alert.
Okay.
These things are apparitions.
Since you're actively aware, Marstone, make another perception check.
Cool.
Another 17.
Oh my God.
Another 17.
Oh, sorry. I think it was me. It was another thing.
Got
where
upset for nothing.
It teeters on like natural 20, and then it's like it'll slide across and be like boop over to a 2
So-
or an 8 every single time.
17 again?
Yep.
Yeah, that's high enough. You see something fly through trees in the woods to your left now. And it leaves behind a semi-glowing burst of smoke behind it.
Smoke.
And then everybody hears
It's back.
Ready yourselves.
I pull out my short bow.
as smashing into trees in this forest, the wyvern from before crashes into two trees near the clearing near you guys, just breaks the two trees, flaps its wings to get its bearings, and then looks down at you all, and you see the still there gaping hole from the rifle shot from Chinara burned through its flesh as just heaps of this smoke just emit and pour off of this thing's wings in its draconic presence. The mist also seems to go back in the direction of the overlook and the wall as it shrieks another time. And I need everyone to roll initiative.
18.
17.
10.
21.
Just get them stored in there. And like we talked about before, Jordan, if you have to dip, it's all good.
Yeah, I don't want to, but I will. I will let you know when.
Sure.
You leave me.
Who will defend Darrow now?
Yeah, man. I just can't trust you guys to not kill my character if I'm not here. So.
Oh, by the way, Kugo, that detect evil and good is still up. So if it comes within 30 feet, I'll know if it's an aberration.
It's
Like,
evil as fuck. Oh, it's so evil. Don't mind me, just making a battle map real quick. Live on television.
Grab a drink real quick.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I should probably go grab one too.
Real quick, yeah.
Gone through a whole bottle of mead.
Are we jumping straight into initiative?
In a sec.
Okay.
Bear with me just a moment.
I'll bear with you.
Oh, it's one of those ones that I love and hate simultaneously. In equal amounts. Okay, let me just put all of you down here. This just got really interesting because the portal is there. Okay, so Zyxx. Let me go ahead and let me make sure that the stream can see this now too. So if I do this, if I go maps and then I go like this and then I go like this, perfect. Marstone was standing ready in that direction. Darrow. Darrow is always close to Zyxx. I'll put you guys together.
BFF.
Alrighty. Go ahead and get the Roll20 map here. Make sure you guys can see what's going on. Alright, it's perfect. Let me look at your initiative rolls here. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Not bad. You're pretty much the only one keeping that down. Ooh, beat it out by 1. You guys go first as you see this large wyvern covered in soot and smoke, just constantly shedding it off of its body, just shaking it off with every flap of the wings. Still has a gaping hole in the center mass of its body.
I will start us off. Let me see. So, remind me, because I haven't done... It doesn't take an action to drop a concentration, right?
It just happens. You can just choose to drop it.
So, my Detect Evil and Good drops, and I will cast Bless on the group. So, I get to choose...
It's like you and 4 others, right? Or 5 others? It's a lot.
I can bless up to 3 creatures of my choice.
Oh, okay.
So I will
including yourself?
No. Just 3.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. Yeah, Gabriel doesn't know anything about this Warforged, so he will do Zyxx, Darrow, and Marstone. So whenever you guys make a attack roll or saving throw, you can roll an additional d4 and add that number to your attack roll or saving throw.
Attack blessed.
An additional D4.
So under the easiest way to remember that is on your D&D Beyond, you can just add. I think you can add.
Well, if we're talking about practicality here, the easiest thing to do is just Gabriel. You remind them that they get it when they're doing a thing.
Yeah.
Because then less people have to remember things.
I thought there was something you could put on there, but that's just it only gives you negative. So never mind.
Yeah, there's no condition for bless, sadly.
That'd be cool though.
Yeah,
Yep.
All right. So what does that look like narratively?
So I put my hand over top of my symbol, and I say, I just kind of whisper, light at the silver flame, or I'll just do it. Light at the silver flame, bless my friends, and I put out my hand and kind of just point out to the 3 that I'm looking at.
and we feel it. And I
All
look
right.
over and I'm like, this silver flame stuff it's real, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I smile.
Who else is going? Who else is ready?
All right. I'm going to cast Wild Shape. And so I look over at Zyxx. I'm like, you ready, little buddy?
Yeah.
And I start screaming, like my arms grow out, and my face and snout like elongates, and I grow massive teeth, and I gain like 200 pounds, and I turn into a dire wolf.
There we go. Dire wolf time. That's your bonus action, right?
That's my action. Oh, I can use it as no. It's an action.
Alrighty.
What is? How many of these creatures are there? Like, many?
One.
What creatures are we talking about?
Well, I don't know. I had to step away and get water, so it's
It's the wyvern.
The
Oh, the
wyvern.
wyvern's back.
The
Okay.
shadow wyvern is
wyvern.
back
Um,
with a
I'm gonna-
gaping hole in the center mass, still from the shot that Shannara took.
Okay, I'm gonna. How far away is it? Like less than.
It's probably. I mean, it's up in the air. It's probably 40 feet up in the air.
Okay. Then I'm gonna cast Fairy Fire, which is me like spreading open my cloak, and a whole bunch of fireflies shoot out and just like attack this thing.
Alrighty.
Make a dexterity or DC 13 dexterity saving throw.
Alrighty. Okay. What does that look like?
Yeah, so these bugs just like pelt this creature, and then now it is glowing, and it can't be invisible, and anybody who attacks it has advantage on their attack.
So the bugs fly out towards the shadow wyvern. And the wyvern shrieks one more time. And flaps the wings. And in the gust of the flap of wings, the smoke hits the bugs. And the bugs all turn, not unlike the ones going around the portal. And it doesn't look like fairy fire works. As the bugs return back to you, frantically, just trying to get back to you. And the color starts to fade back to their normal color, but they seem spooked.
And then I'll run to, if there's like a rock or a tree or something, and can I bonus action hide?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You hop over behind a rock over here to get some cover. And then you go roll stealth for the hide.
Yes, I am. And
Okay.
it is a 20, not natural.
Awesome. Awesome. Alrighty.
That is my turn.
Who else has actions?
I do. I'm going to shout to the other two over there to spread out. Get to cover and don't make yourself an obvious target. And then I'm going to do just that. And I'm going to try and hide behind one of those pillars.
Yeah, you got it.
And I'm going to ready a hand axe in my main hand and kind of gauge the distance.
Alrighty. Same thing's about 30 feet in the air or so from you.
Okay. I'm going to be throwing this hand axe. However, I think I have to make this a disadvantage because it's the range on this is 20 feet. So.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Ooh, that's
But
not
you
good.
have advantage because of the fairy fire, so it cancels out.
So the fairy fire, so it is
didn't
not
take-
lit up.
Yeah, but the fairy fire didn't work.
Oh, it didn't work? I thought
It did
worked.
not work. No, it's not lit up at all.
Okay, so that's gonna
Never
be
mind.
a 12 then. At disadvantage.
All right. It flies through the air. And the thing just easily flies out of the direction of it as it hits the tree right beside it flying and just sticks to it like 30 feet up in the air.
It's going to be tough to get back.
Who else has actions?
I'll go. I'm gonna take one step forward, and I'm gonna put my palm forwards again, but this time it's gonna be the right arm. And as the fingers start to spread out outside from the palm and hovering around the middle device, it's gonna start shining red, and it's gonna take on flame, and a ray of flame is gonna go straight towards the creature. And I'm gonna cast Energy Blast at 2nd level.
Oh, okay, all right.
All right.
What is it a save or is it a roll to hit?
No, it's a roll to hit that was an 11, so all that cool shit for nothing because not gonna hit.
So
But there you
this
go. That's what
energy blast, you said it, where's it coming from, your hand?
happened. Yes.
All right, so the hand, there's like an orb of energy that opens up, a circle, as it starts glowing bright red, and this energy from all around your hand, almost coming from the air, gets sucked in like oxygen until it just gets sent out into the forest. This thing disappears in a cloud of smoke and reappears 5 feet away. And the beam soars and hits a tree that has clearly been dead for a while, and half of it topples over, and everyone hears, against the flapping wings and the shrieking, the sound of cracking as this giant tree starts to come down in the woods 30 feet from you. Is that everybody? Who else has an action?
I think we're good.
Okay.
That's everyone.
All right. The creature, which by the way, it takes up this much space, but I'll blow it up so you can see it a little bit better. But that's what it looks like as it gets closer, as it flies closer to the camera. And then loops around.
Everybody put on your 3D glasses.
And you're the last thing that shot at it. It's going to swoop down at you, Mr. Warforged. This is not something that's new to you, unfortunately. For the lucky few that have witnessed Session 0, this has happened before. Also, I will say, there's enough dim light being cast by the energy coming off of this black portal that everyone can, and also coming off of this creature, although it is shadowy and smoky, there's an aura about it that maybe is not as bright as fairy fire would be, but in the dead of night, you can see this thing. The portal and all of the glimmering lights are causing enough dim light, but it's gonna swoop down with its claws. That's gonna be a 19.
Just hits.
All right. I'm gonna get real dice for me. Gonna need more than one die.
Well, come on, then.
It's gonna be 7 slashing damage.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. 11 necrotic damage.
Okay, 18 total, correct?
As this thing swoops down, loops around above you, and then swoops down and digs both of its claws into both shoulders of your new Warforged friend. And as the claws scrape like metal against metal, smoke residue starts to emit from the wounds themselves. You see exposed wires and metal plating now on the shoulders, just on either side of his handkerchief? What is it? Why can't I remember what it's called now either?
Scarf?
Scarf, yeah, and his scarf. You are also picked up,
Great.
and it flies about 10 feet up into the air.
I am grappled, correct?
Everyone, you are restrained, good sir.
Oh, shit.
You can escape at the end of your next turn, but that is its turn. Actually, no, it is not. It can do one more thing. But only one more thing. Everyone sees him bring your new Warforged friend above 10, 15 feet above where the portal is. And you can see he's desperately kicking and holding on to the claws and kicking like crazy. No. And then the creature one more time lets out a I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw except for Zyxx, who I believe is hidden right now.
Oh my god.
20.
13.
Haste runaway.
5.
16.
All right.
Not this again.
You needed an 11. Did anybody get less than 11?
I did.
All right. You are paralyzed with fear as you start to see a very horrible image, Gabriel. You see the sick men rolling out of their cots with bright white eyes and smoke coming off of them. And they are crawling towards the door.
Does bless go away? It's a concentration.
I believe you cannot concentrate if you're paralyzed. Fact check.
Fuck the old bunk.
Cannot move
All right.
or speak. Automatically fails dexterity and nothing else. No, you're fine. You can keep concentration.
All right.
No,
So,
you're incapacitated. No, you can't.
I was gonna say it makes sense that you would that it would
says
break.
You can take actions or reactions. I'm not sure if maintaining concentration is an action, but
No, I would say that his consciousness kind of, he's not unconscious, he's just paralyzed.
Correct.
Yeah.
Hang on to it for now. Let's move on. It's back
Yes,
to
sir.
you guys. That is the end of this creature's turn.
If anybody else even get close to failing, you guys could roll the d4 as well. So everybody else passed though, right?
yes.
11 was the mark. Yeah.
Cool.
It's your turn, guys. Whoever has an action.
I whisper under my breath, like, damn it, jam. And I grab my other hand axe, down to 1, and I flip it in my hand, and I peek out again. And I take very careful aim, and I'm going to try and hit this thing as close to its like lower region as I can to try and get it to let go, or maybe just loosen its grip on the Warforged.
Okay.
What's the distance now? Still same?
Yeah, it's about 30 feet. Actually, you know what? Hold on. If you can close the distance, like you can go right up to this portal, and it's probably like 15 feet up.
Oh, then yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
100%.
Like if
I can
you
get closer.
come out from the cover and you run under it, you can get close enough to have regular shot. Yeah.
I'll do that.
So you huck another hand axe.
However, the lighting situation or something, I don't know what it is. I'm not quite able to.
Well,
get
you're
it.
trying not to hit your friend,
Yeah.
who is flailing in the air, trying to get out of the claws, although they are hovering above
Can I-
this black abyss.
Can I use my reaction?
To do what?
As the hand axe is flying towards the creature, and as I'm trying to get rid of this grasp, but I also already fought this creature before, and I also know that there's a portal under me or something horrible, and I'm not sure if I want to get dropped, but I see the hand axe coming towards the creature, and I notice that it's gonna miss, so I look at the hand axe and tilt my head to the side, and everybody sees the hand axe is flying forwards, and then it stops mid-air and flies backwards towards Marstone. I'm gonna use Chronal Shift.
Yeah, you got it. Marstone, you step out from cover and go 15 feet underneath it. What do you want to do? Do you want to throw your hand axe?
Yeah.
Okay, throw your hand axe.
Eight. Man.
Franco, your Warforged head just shakes in disappointment as you feel like you have done all you possibly could have done. Who else is up?
Okay.
Who else has a turn?
It's right over he's dangling him over this pit, correct?
It's not in the middle because it's fairly large. It's probably like 20 feet across. So it's kind of like he's on the outer rim of it, but definitely still over it.
Okay, I am taking out one of my magic stones, and I'm gonna cast Ensnaring Strike. So I'm gonna take some like roots from the ground and kind of wrap it around my stone and say,
Alrighty.
"We gotta bring this wyvern down." And then I'm gonna do a ranged attack against this guy.
Alrighty.
Oh my gosh, that's a 9.
You throw it. And it's covered in these misty, dark clouds, and you swear this thing's flapping in there somewhere, and you just let it rain, you just let it fly, and it just soars through, and you see it land on the other side, somewhere on the ground.
Okay, Darrow, you can save the day now.
Oh man. So I see all of this happening, and I see Johnny number 5 do his little hand thing and see him flying, and I'm like to myself, oh, his name should be Tony Stark, but nobody hears this because I'm a direwolf, so all they hear is like, and everyone's just like, what? So I'm near Zyxx, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have advantage on an attack roll if I'm at least within 5 feet of one of my allies, if the creature isn't incapacitated. I may need some help on this. I'm going to do a bite. And
It is 15 feet flying in the air right now.
Son of a gun. I can't do that. Because I don't have the reach. It's only 5 feet of reach for bite.
Yes.
Correct. It's a
I
melee.
can't cast any spells.
Not unless you dropped your form.
Okay, I think what I'm going to have to do is drop my form.
So you start, bounding over as the direwolf, and you jump off of the tree in like parkour-like fashion, and your huge wolf form leaps off of the tree in mid-air. You lose and morph back into Darrow, and then you cast what?
I cast Moonbeam.
Okay.
Okay. Silvery beam of pale light, 5-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder, blah blah blah. And I think I can cast it right on him. So let me cast that, and then I do 2d10s. So that's. Oh, I have to roll the hit, don't I?
I believe it's a save.
Oh, Constitution. Yes, Constitution, and it has to be 12, at least 12.
Okay, but does it happen on the turn or on its turn when it starts its turn?
Let me look. Sorry, I should already know this.
Yes, you should.
I rolled a 14, so I'm gonna take half damage.
The creature enters the spell area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there. So it's entering for the first time. I would do it now. But...
Do it now.
Okay.
So that's
We'll read into it after. Do it now. So he's going to take half. Con. What kind of damage?
Only 7. I rolled.
It's radiant damage.
Radiant damage. That is important.
Okay.
And what kind of save? A con?
Con, yeah.
12. Okay.
Yeah.
12. Okay, so 6 radiant damage to you, Mr. Warforged.
3. Half of 7, right?
I thought it was 12. Wait, did I just confuse myself in a circle?
12 is the DC.
All right. So 7 radiant damage. Half down to 3.
Katie, that was 7 damage, correct?
7 damage, yeah.
All right. 7 damage. Round down. So you feel this light beam down in the middle of the night, basically. It comes in through the tops of the trees, just soars down, and not only does it absolutely blast through the wings of this creature, it encapsulates all of your Warforged friend, and you're not even sure if he's in there. This beam of moonlit light just soars down and hits the portal itself. And the light starts swirling violently in with the darkness. You could see there is an arcane battle happening in this pool right now, where the light is almost forming solids and trying to seal it as the darkness is trying to swallow it up and swallow it downwards. But if that wasn't worrying enough,
Uh-oh.
the creature absolutely writhes in pain upon receiving this radiant damage. There's just like this. As the beam soars down and into one of the wings, and one of the wings is entirely burnt away in a sizzle. It drops the Warforged
I'm
and
sorry.
attempts to fly upwards. What do you guys do?
Can I? I didn't use my action. If I notice he's gonna stop using. No, never mind. I'm gonna. Die
You are
anyway.
in a cylinder of bright white light right
Yeah.
now.
I fall. That's my action.
Yep.
Can I shake this paralysis?
You may make a Constitution saving throw. Beat an 11.
Okay, I beat 11.
Yeah, it's shook. It's shook. You snap out of it as you see this cone, like this giant cylinder of radiant light come down. You see an arm, a metal arm, kind of like swimming through the air in slow motion, falling through. And then this creature is trying to desperately flap with one wing upwards into the air. Higher.
How far out into the pool does it appear that he's falling down?
Like he is within 5 feet reaching distance, but definitely still over the pool.
Okay.
5
me-
foot from the edge.
You're talking about me, right?
Yeah.
Also, it's hard to tell while the moonbeam is still up.
Sure. Okay.
If you see, Darrow, if you see this moonbeam hit this creature and it shrieks and flies upwards out of it, would you keep the moonbeam there or would you drop it?
If it shrieks and flies up out of it,
Mm-hmm.
then I would drop it.
Okay, it drops and you all see the Warforged falling.
As I'm falling in the
Can
air,
Everyone gets to do one thing.
I am gonna look around and see if I can try to get my body as spread as possible as I'm casting a spell, trying to put my feet the closer to the edge of the pool that I can. And as I'm falling, you're gonna notice how my feet start vibrating a little bit, and then there's like this blurry like effect around the soles of my feet, and I'm gonna cast magnetic steps, which is my version of spider climb, and I'm gonna try to land my feet on the very edge, even if I'm horizontal and the rest
Okay.
of my body falls on
Okay.
the pool. I'm gonna try
Okay.
to at least have my claws in the
Okay,
edge.
that's what you're attempting to do. What is everybody else doing?
So you said the pool was like having this arcane kind of battle, right?
Yeah, whatever energy came from the moonbeam is starting. It was swirling within this blackness. Now that the moonbeam is gone, the blackness is actually starting to eat up and swallow most of the light, though.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Sacred Flame on the pool.
Okay, do damage.
2.
Okay,
It's radiant damage though.
like a holy grenade of brilliant white light, it just gets dropped from the heavens and lands right into the pool. In fact, this radiant grenade falls side by side in the air with the Warforged. They're falling in slow motion together. You look and you turn and you see this brilliant white ball. All right.
I am going to drop the halberd in my offhand and take a couple steps out into the pool to try and
Into the pool.
catch some part of this Warforged.
So,
I want to stay as grounded as I can. Like if I go to take the first step and I don't feel ground, I can't go in.
So here's the thing. This is happening really freaking quick.
Yep.
Do you want to stay on solid ground and reach out to grab him, or do you want to get under him? If you get under him, you will have to touch this stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I don't mind touching this stuff. That's a risk I'm willing to take.
All right.
I don't want to fall completely into the stuff and not be able to catch him. That's all.
Sure.
So like if it's a gradual divot into this pool, that's where I walk out. But if I don't feel ground on my first step, I'm just gonna reach out.
Okay. Who else hasn't done anything?
I am going to dash towards the pond, and by dash, I'm just going to use my movement.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to cast jump on myself, which triples my jump distance, and I'm going to try to jump in the air and catch the Warforged and fall outside of the thing.
Oh my god, so you're going to spring into the air and like football tackle to get his trajectory to change. Okay, so... Zyxx, make an athletics check.
Ooh. Oh, that's a 2.
Okay. Marstone?
Yep.
I'm gonna need you
It misses me.
to make an athletics check
Okay.
at disadvantage,
No.
because now you are trying to catch 2 people.
Oh no.
No, my normal roll was a natty 20. It was a 25.
Oh my.
Oh, man, it's a 17.
It's still good! So, what's the total?
22.
22!
Nice.
22. So, Zyxx, you cast the spell, and all of your bugs run under your boots and do a push-up at the same time.
Hell yeah.
And they all spring you into the air. And you hit the Warforged and catch him on the back. And you realize you have not changed his trajectory at all.
Yeah,
You have
we're
just
like, oh, we're
piggybacked
still
him.
Oh, this is so bad.
Yep, you just piggyback him, and you look over your shoulder and you see this swirling black energy. Marstone, you jab your battle axe into the ground as hard as you can. You almost can't even see the blades anymore. You've driven it so far down into the earth. And you use it to stabilize yourself, and you reach out with one arm, and you swing your arm around the Warforged and the Goblin, both of them. And you throw them, toss them forward in the other direction, them rolling and landing onto the grass. However, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw,
Okay.
as the pool does indeed touch one of your feet and attempts to drag you in.
Just a straight dex.
Dex save.
Plus 0. 18.
Your axe begins to move in the ground. And you manage to grab both hands onto the hilt of it. And you yank your leg backwards as this black ichor almost starts to get watered down on your leg, forming almost these black spider webs. And you yank away from it as they still kind of linger on your leg, and you go flying backwards. However, the hilt of your weapon gets grabbed by the ichor and is pulled from the ground into the black abyss. Looking around at your companions, all huddled around, and in the distance, far away, far into the sky, back in the direction of the wall, you hear the cry one last time. And that's where we're going to end today's session of the Mighty Dungeon Eberron. Oh my goodness, you guys! Those rolls at the end!
Dude, they were so
That could have got really crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's just do this real quick. So chat, What an amazing time. I don't really know what to say. Hold on, I can't break immersion. I gotta put the hood back on. There we go. Now that I'm cosplayed. Woo! Thanks guys for coming out to watch episode 1 of Mighty Dungeon Eberron. Are they gonna go in? Are they gonna figure out what the light does to it? We'll find out next week on Friday, same place, same time. Now, players in Discord, I'm gonna need you guys to deafen for a sec.
Oh. Okay.
Everybody deafen up. Deafen up. All right. All the players can no longer hear me. This is just for you, chat. I saw this on Exandria. I want to do this. Little do the players know that the vision Gabriel saw when interacting with this beast of the 2 wounded men back in the barracks, they were indeed crawling towards the door. Not a single soldier in the camp suspecting a thing. And I'll see all y'all next week for more D&D. Goodbye. I hope you enjoyed your time. Take deep breaths, smile, and stay mighty. Goodbye.